This is the Ottawa Senators Outlook. Here is your host, Jack Henry.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Senators. Welcome to host Jack. This is my recap reaction to the Blackhawks game, so let's get right to it. So the Senators lose in overtime to the Blackhawks by a final score of 4-3. So in the first period, Connor Bedard scores to make it 1-0 Chicago, but then Joe Veleno will score to make it 2-0 Chicago, but then Nick Cousins, who did return against the Flyers, will score to make it a 2-1 game, and that's all you get after the first period. After 20 minutes, Chicago was up 2-1. In the second period, Tom Chabot scores on the power play to tie it up at 2, but then Connor Bedard will score his second of the game on the power play to make it 3-2, but then later on in the period, Drake Batherson will tie the game at 3 on the power play, so tied game after 2 periods. So nothing happens in the third. We go to overtime, and Frank Nazar scores to make it 4-3 to win the game for Chicago. So the goaltending matchup in this game was Spencer Knight and Anton Forsberg. Forsberg stopping 12 of 16 for a .750 save percentage, and Spencer Knight stopping 34 of 37 for a .919 save percentage. So Anton Forsberg, I mean, there was a conversation of, again, not having a good game. He's either going to look like Olmark or he's going to look like Korpisello. So this was a game where he really didn't look good, and honestly, this is like one of the rare games where he gives up 4 goals and no one really cares, to be honest. A lot of players on the Senators were resting in this game. You could add, I believe, Jake Sanderson and Claude Giroux in the mix to that as well. Claude Giroux missing his first game with the Senators since signing that contract. This is obviously the final year, and it's crazy to think how time flies by. I remember getting that notification on my phone that Claude Giroux signed that 3-year deal. It is the final year of that contract, and the second to last game is the first game he does not suit up in a Senators jersey. So good for Claude Giroux. 244 games with the Ottawa Senators. It's looking like he's not going to play against the Carolina Hurricanes, which is our last game of the regular season. But again, the Senators at this point, they're not in a real position where they need to put out these top guys. They can really afford to rest these guys and see what else you can have as depth players for the playoffs and get guys back. Like you look at Nick Cousins, for an example. That is a huge guy to get back, in my opinion. And speaking of playoffs, the Toronto Maple Leafs, as I stated in one of my videos just a couple days ago, they needed at least 1 point against Buffalo or Detroit. They beat Buffalo, which means that with that win, the Toronto Maple Leafs win the Atlantic Division, which means that the Ottawa Senators will be playing the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. Battle of Ontario is back, and I think that's going to be pretty interesting. So just to quickly recap this game, 4-3 overtime loss to the Blackhawks. I mean, wasn't a meaningful game whatsoever. You're just going to see a lot of guys just stepping out, not playing, just so they can afford to rest. They have a game against the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm not going to do a preview for that because I don't really think I need to. Carolina's also resting guys, Ottawa as well, so I feel like you're just going to see a lot of depth guys in the lineup for both of those teams. But anyways, let's get back to the Leafs. I will have a series preview for the Maple Leafs first-round playoff series. I will also have my full bracket, so those videos will be coming out. But again, I'm excited for this because, again, this is the 4th year I've done this channel, and this is the first year that the Senators get playoffs, first time since 2017 they've been in, and the first time in 21 years that we play the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So that's going to be really exciting for both fan bases. Again, Battle of Ontario, big rivalry back in the day. Daniel Alfredson played there. Jacques Martin was the coach of the Senators back then. Both guys are back in the organization. And then you have a former Leaf at the time, Travis Green, who is now the Senators head coach. So pretty much a full circle moment for some of these guys in the organization. I'm really excited to see how this plays out because the Toronto Maple Leafs, they look like a different team compared to when Sheldon Keefe was the coach, but there are some similar traits, but I'll get into that in the series preview, which should be out on Saturday because based off the rumors, it seems like the first game between the Sens and Leafs will be on Sunday. So I will get a lot of that content out on Saturday, go through my bracket challenge. The West is all set up, and the East, we're just waiting on Montreal and Columbus to play Washington, so we'll see what happens there. So anyways, give me your thoughts on this game. I will see you tomorrow or Friday for the Hurricanes recap. It is the final game of the regular season, and for the first time in 8 years, it is not the last game the Senators play. So we'll get at least 4 more games of the Senators after the regular season, and I'm excited for it. So anyways, like and subscribe, but for now, this is Jack Miguel Senators Outlook, and Go Sens Go.
Thank you for watching this presentation of the Ottawa Senators Outlook. For more of this podcast, click on the videos on the left, and subscribe by clicking on the icon on the right. Thank you.